Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode. College Football Uncensored. Chris, what do you do? What is that? Is that a Florida cup?
Just drinking out of my glass for the weekend. Heading on down to Jacksonville.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we'll have to hear a little bit about that. We have a guest tonight. Our man, producer Dan. What's up, buddy?
How we doing, guys?
Doing great.
Huh,
No?
No,
been a bad week.
Oh, God.
Lost that fucking TV show.
Oh, boy.
That was tough. That was your fault,
No,
Tyler.
no. Let him get it out. Let him get it out.
Yeah. Let me air some grievances real quick. Just
That
like
was my
just like
fault
a
that you lost the TV show? Is that what
No,
you
it was
said?
absolutely my fault. Absolutely my fault.
Okay.
I learned the lesson though. Look, I took it down. Yeah. So I think Willie Gray's the only one in here, but I need to get this off my chest. So basically, last week when we were recording the TV show we do every week, I forgot to take down my sign in the back that says the F word. In hindsight, there's really no reason to have that. It just says the F word, and it aired. And a white woman with 3 names, born at like a fucking Vineyard Vines or Vera Wang, she complained to the president of Fox and said that basically it was like, luckily I didn't have any children around me. I had to explain them what that meant. And she was very offended by the ATL ho. I got in trouble for what do you call it? Derogatory comments to women.
That's tough. Tough look.
Thanks, man. I was hoping you'd respond that way. So yeah, then the show just got taken off air.
Oh,
Well, like the whole show's gone now?
It's gone.
Oh, so everyone else is out of the job as well.
Yep.
Okay.
Awful. The cool part was, like an hour into that whole issue, that woman realized that she was good friends with the producer's wife and didn't know that. So she walked back her comments, but it was too late since she had written a fucking email to Montlick and Associates and the president of Fox. So,
well, as positive of a start to the pod as this has been tonight. Anything else this week that got you
no,
going?
Bama's off. We got LSU next week. I think we might lose. Other than that, I'm doing well.
Oof. Well, we'll get there when we can. There's some really good games on the slate this week, though. What's your favorite game? Because I feel like in name you would think it'd be Kentucky, Tennessee, but I kind of feel like that might be a blowout.
I would say in name that would never be my favorite game because that is not usually a great game.
Well, the rankings, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I keep forgetting Kentucky's ranked. Also, real quick, side note. Remember a couple weeks ago when I got into it with those Kentucky fans?
About Kentucky being not that good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of them reached out to me and apologized after they lost and was like, I shouldn't have been that personal. It was uncalled for. I want to send you a bottle of liquor. I was like, oh, thanks, man. So he's like a regular listener on Michael Bratton's pod. So I called Mike and he's like, do not give that guy your home address. Absolutely don't. So I gave him one of our listeners' addresses because he's about to move. So he gets the package today. He says he sends me 2 bottles of liquor and and something else. He opens it up. There's fucking sawdust everywhere. It's just filled with sawdust. And he packed 2 empty bottles, an empty 20-ounce Coke and an empty Buffalo Trace bottle.
Cool.
Unbelievable.
What a guy.
Tennessee by a million. Anyway, I thought it was funny. There's like probably 8 to 10 really good games on this weekend.
I agree with
from
that.
a gambling standpoint.
Yeah.
Dan, what's your favorite game on the board? As far as
I got it.
Maybe not. So favorite game to gamble this weekend, and then favorite game to just watch, like good game.
Gamble. I think that, and I said it on my pod with 680 The Fan and Chuck Oliver's show, The Southern Beat. Please subscribe, do all those things, please. But I said that my lock is absolutely Ohio State, Penn State. Like, I know that there was that
Ooh.
guy up in Jersey that bet money line on Penn State. You just threw away 10 grand, dude, because Penn State is awful offensively. Sean Clifford, no Sean Clifford, it doesn't matter. They're not good. And Ohio State's elite, both running and throwing the ball, and they can move you off the ball offensively. And, oh, by the way, Tommy Eichenberg and that defense are just playing out of their mind right now under Jim Knowles. So that's the gambling one. I would say that probably, I would say that my just favorite game that I look forward to watching is Ole Miss, Texas A&M, twofold because of both coaches. One is yesterday on the SEC coaches teleconference where Lane was like, yeah, we like DJ Durkin, but we got outbid for him, which is kind of the theme for that program. That was amazing. I loved it. And then earlier this week, I don't know when the hell Jimbo said this, but we played it on the Chuck Oliver show today, is Jimbo's supposed pitch to recruits of, hey, they might win at Alabama, and Clemson and everywhere else, but you're going to get to play here and lose about 3 or 4 games a year at least, which I was like, that's like the maitre d' at a steakhouse if somebody walks up and just says, hey, how's the steakhouse? Well, we're not as good as Morton's or Ruth's Chris, but, hey, we're still pretty good. Oh, man, give me a ribeye right now, medium rare. Like, the hell kind of pitch is that? It continues to, like, show you that, like, I truly believe at this point that Jimbo is in way over his head. And I think that if there is a chance, because remember earlier in the year that Lane said he backed off against Georgia Tech because he was like, hey, I ain't trying to get a guy fired. When ergo, he ended up getting a guy fired.
Oh, bullshit.
Collins? Well, Collins.
No, I'm saying Lane. I feel like Lane would really, really enjoy that.
Oh no, like with Jimbo, that's why I'm saying I'm looking forward to this, because that 2-point line for Ole Miss, I was like, are you kidding me with this? Like, A&M is a dumpster fire of dumpster fires right now, and it's gonna get even worse. After this game, you're gonna be seeing a lot more news of transfer portal and. After
Smoking
the season,
weed in the locker room.
That's it. Coaches are not brought back. Ole Miss is going to win this game at least by 2 scores.
All right, so I got to disagree with that because I think Vegas, like, there's a reason why the number is set at 2. Like, Vegas knows something. A&M is awful. They are awful. I will say, I like that whole pitch to recruits. I want Jimbo, like, if I was single ever again, I want Jimbo to, like, drop my first line on Tinder or like respond on Bumble. Like, hey, do you love daddy issues and an attachment disorder, but also don't like high credit scores? Then you will love Chris Marler.
But he'd have to say it a lot faster, and then the potential, next girlfriend, if that were the case, would definitely be like, the hell did he just say? And then that's when I think you have to step in.
No, I would let him carry the weight the whole time. I feel like, so there's definitely something about this line that scares me, but I will say also the first half line is just like basically a pick 'em. It's a half point. That feels like free money. I think that's might be my favorite bet of the week. But yeah, I mean,
like they start fast.
Yeah. And A&M doesn't. A&M's like notoriously very, very slow. So
Devin Achane's not going to make it through the entire season. Like,
no, he's all they got.
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah, they're going to start Wigman, right?
You have to at this point. You have to.
I think you should have a package for each quarterback.
That's it. I mean, what are you going to gain by starting Max Johnson, which I think he's done for the year? So scratch that. I mean, what are you going to play the Boast kid that was supposed to play the bowl game last year? Like, no, you play Connor Weigman and you find out the kid can play. That's what you do.
Connor Weigman?
Weigman is how you say it.
Oh,
Weigman.
That's so much worse than Weigman. God.
No, the E and I in what I can only assume is German or Czech or whatever. You say it like a Y right there. So I learned
he sounds like whoever would be in charge of like the finances for like the worst fraternity on campus.
God, it's a damn Connor Weigman.
God.
Well, what about the Auburn Arkansas game? What's y'all's read on that game? I mean, you got 2 teams that I feel like kind of are desperate for a win here. I mean, I know Arkansas picked one up last week, but that was against BYU. You come back in conference, and then obviously with Auburn, they're both 1-3 in the SEC right now. So I don't know. What's your read on this game? It's at Auburn. The line is 3.5 in favor of Arkansas. Total 62. Chris, what do you think?
This is the first. I'm going to hammer Arkansas, especially in the second half. This is the first time Arkansas has been favored at Auburn since 1998.
Really?
Yeah, like back with like Ricky Martin, Mambo number 5, like the glory days.
Shout out.
Yeah, Lou. Man,
Smash
he unfollowed
Mouth.
me on Twitter. All right, well, I mean, no, we're
Keep
talking about
going.
like actual talented artists. Yeah, you know what?
Limp
Let's have that be
Bizkit.
the whole fucking show.
Limp Bizkit.
Oh, we can go that route if you want to go that route.
No, we have already too many like texts about Trapped in our group thread anyway. But no, I think that like Arkansas with KJ Jefferson, especially like Auburn's run defense is really, really bad. And I meant to mention that with A&M because it's pretty similar for both. Arkansas, obviously with Rocket Sanders, KJ Jefferson, I'm assuming he's close to being fully healthy. He looked healthy against BYU. Auburn's ranked 119th in the country in rush defense. They're giving up almost 5 yards a carry. So, and the only thing that Arkansas is overwhelmingly bad at, besides like a cool chant, is pass defense. And there's nobody on Auburn's roster that is going to like throw the football like for any kind of success on Saturday. So like Auburn's team total is 28.5 points. I mean, I don't see how this is even close.
Yeah, I was that threw me off too, which makes me think that I should take something like the over. Like if they're both expected to score in the 30s, basically.
I mean, but Auburn's not going to do that. When have they like?
Well,
if
that's the line in Vegas, I mean, it can't be that far off, right?
Fuck you, Tyler. I think it's Auburn, man. There's no way to.
Yeah, no, I get it. You look at Robbie Ashford; he's completing 48% of his passes. He's got 4 touchdowns and 5 INTs on the season. So I will say recently, I mean, all year, Arkansas's pass defense hasn't been great. I think their run defense isn't very good either. So Tank Bigsby could have a huge game and keep him in it. What about Auburn first quarter? They're like, I think they're like fifth in the country and points given up in the first quarter. So they're pretty good on defense, and then obviously they start games well. It's just the finish that needs some work.
Hold on, they're 5th in the country in first quarter points allowed?
Yeah.
No, they're not. They're 23rd. Well, actually, but wow, it's still impressive. I did not expect that either way. But what is Arkansas? Because I feel like Arkansas, like I did a little in-depth look at this today of like just the difference in like points per game that teams are scoring or giving up home versus away. Because I don't know how this is happening, but like for the first time all season, a couple of Big Ten teams are going to have to actually leave home and play on the road, like Ohio State. Arkansas is pretty consistent, at home and on the road. This is like the one team that Pittman's had trouble with, though. Like as good as he's been against the spread, like all the 4 trophies he won last year, he's never beaten Auburn because of the shitty Bo Nix call from 2020. And then they got beat by like 15 a year ago.
Yeah, Arkansas has lost 6 straight in this series.
Jesus. And then isn't there the other storyline too, or supposedly, I guess, Harsin is not letting guys redshirt unless they're hurt and basically just telling them, all right, well, then just leave if you don't want to play the rest of this season. And if I'm not mistaken, I don't know if it was, somebody had, created this and it was a fake. But apparently, I guess John Samuel Shanker had liked it. So it's like, all right, well, if that's true, then I guess that's your validity. Because, yeah, you did see the I'll always love Auburn graphics on there, but I decided to enter the transfer portal yesterday. So I don't know. I mean, look, credit to Harsin. The players have seemingly had his back. So, I mean, that's got to tell you something. So maybe there will be a little bit of a win-win for the Gipper, but we believed in Arkansas for a reason coming into this season, and their offensive line is better. Their offense is just better, and they probably have enough defense to be able to stop Auburn a couple of times. So, yeah, I really like Arkansas in this one.
Were y'all like? Did y'all think it was a big deal that Harsin said you can't like either redshirt because you're injured or play? I didn't think that was that big of a deal. Like, people were
So
outraged.
he basically just said you're not allowed to redshirt unless you're
Well,
injured.
there's reports out there saying that. So I mean, I don't,
I mean,
obviously.
when is the last time a coach has said that?
That guy from Remember the Titans.
Oh yeah,
Coach Yoster.
You're either hurt or you're fucking playing every down of this game. Like, I mean, the main issue is that Harsin doesn't play the right guys anyway.
Wait a minute. When did Yost say that? I mean, it was Ryan Gosling quitting, and he was just like, "All right, he's gone."
I mean, what a glow up for Ryan Gosling. I still think he would probably suck in press coverage, but like he's much more attractive now than he was as like a Virginia high school defensive back.
He was a total boob in that movie. Like
Yeah,
he was like the clown, and then he basically quit on his team, and luckily Petey was there to help save the day.
to quit harder. Also, I will say just real quick, I was watching this yesterday, and my least favorite line, maybe in any movie ever, is when Gary Bertier said, "That's a mama joke."
I don't remember that.
What? Tyler, you know what I'm talking
that.
about.
no, I really don't actually.
Are you guys? God, Jesus! Thank God I didn't make that video. I thought that everyone knew that line. Yeah, well, glad I brought it up.
I'm not
All
a big
right.
movie guy. I'll say here.
Oh, I am. Don't get me wrong. And like I remember, like
They were
one-off
talking shit
lines
about
like
each other's
that.
moms.
Oh, okay, yeah. All right, yeah. So there is that one. Yeah.
Well,
All
that's
right,
the
so
show.
we all got Arkansas covering. I got 38-30.
What a segue.
Right. You briefly touched on this game, but it's another noon game, Dan. And this is number 2 Ohio State at number 13 Penn State. I want to get into that more because I feel like you very easily brushed aside Penn State in this one.
Yeah.
I want to get Chris's take.
Really?
Yeah.
You want my opinion?
No.
I didn't think so. One, Penn State averages like 35 points a game, but I do agree with you. I don't think they're good enough to beat Ohio State. This is like the highest point spread in this game since like 1978. And I think we all remember 1978. Ohio State is really good. Joel Klatt made a point this week that I was so upset that I agreed with. And he was talking about how like I think there's only been 3 teams since like 2015 that have put up over 40 points on Iowa in that defense. And last week they had like 3 or 4 drives that stalled in the red zone, had to settle for field goals, and still put up 54 points, like just with ease. And I think it's like the first time that anyone's ever put up over 50 on Kirk Ferentz. So I thought that like I think that I'm not going to touch this game because going on the road, I don't know what that looks like because they haven't done it yet. They've played every single game at home. It's not a whiteout, I guess.
They played Michigan State at Michigan State, but to your point, yeah, they've mostly been at home.
Yeah. And I know that playing in front of like 48,000 people at Michigan State is like good. I mean, I think they're probably the best team in the country. Like I think you could make a case for Ohio State being the best team in the country. I also think that like we've seen in the past where maybe not with Ryan Day and this kind of offense, where they have struggled in situations like this at Penn State or like on the road or like when the moment is supposed to not be too big for them, like Oregon a year ago. And it just all of a sudden becomes, I mean, like their last road game before Michigan State was Michigan a year ago, and they got just handled in that game. And that's probably going to be the kind of offense that Penn State's going to try to run.
Here's what I don't like for Penn State in this game. They're 0-5 straight up and 1-4 against the spread in their last 5 as an underdog.
Why didn't you fucking tell me that before I said all that shit?
I just wanted to make you suffer. No, I'm just kidding.
Fair. Okay.
Interesting. I'm surprised this is a day game. I don't know why. I guess because Fox tries to put, they probably try to put.
Yeah.
But this is the first day game in the series at Penn State since 2009, and the first noon start against Ohio State at home since 2001.
Well, God.
I was to say, I mean, this game is always a night game. It's going to be weird to see it be played at noon. I feel like.
Well,
and I feel like that helps Ohio State a ton.
Yeah, I mean, there's twofold in this one. Number one, I hope it's double sadness for Pennsylvania fans on Saturday because that means that my Astros beat the Phillies in Game 2 of the World Series. That's number one. Number two, I mean, it's just crazy. Like, you look at this Ohio State offense. So, like, I was at the Notre Dame game early on this season. Smith and Jigba got hurt, but, you're like, all right, who's Emeka Egbuka? Who is
Right.
we heard about Marvin Harrison Jr. and then
Jesus.
Mayan Williams. You got Mayan Williams and Travion Henderson just running downhill and just completely just wrecking havoc on that Notre Dame defense as the game went on. And then you factor in as well, people don't talk enough about Cade Stover, their tight end. They don't talk enough about Julian Fleming. So it's just kind of like one of those things, like it kind of, Marler and people might get upset with me about this, but it kind of is shades of 2019 LSU, 2020 Alabama, where it's just like, who the fuck is this guy? Like now somebody else is making like huge plays downfield. Like it seriously is that kind of like look right now with this offense. And then their defense was a major liability for them last year. I mean, you mentioned that Oregon game. Yeah, absolutely. It cost them. It cost them a chance to be in the college football playoff because there was not only that. Then they got run over by Michigan, which, let's be honest here, if Ohio State had just had one loss, they beat Michigan again, and they go to the Orange Bowl and take on Georgia, it's not a good day for them. But I will say this isn't the same Ohio State that, like, everybody's going to be like, oh, well, if they play Alabama or Tennessee or Georgia or any of those teams, this is Ohio State that they're probably, if it chalk holds right now and you get into the college football playoff, they will absolutely murder Clemson. They what we saw last year with Georgia, like what we saw last year with Georgia and in Michigan in the Orange Bowl. Clemson will be Michigan and Ohio State will be Georgia in that scenario.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, I think like this is Ohio State. They are really. I think Ohio State Tennessee is a game that like I would almost rather see that than any other game this season. Mainly because I wouldn't want to see Georgia playing for the national championship. I'll say it. But no, I mean, the defense was a liability a year ago. And you talk about the Michigan game. I don't think they line up and beat Michigan again. I think that they had a problem with like being tough. I mean, there's not a fucking starter that would have played for Coach Yost. I'll say that. Not a single one of them.
Takes a special man.
We blitz.
But I do think, oh my God, all night. I will say that like 15.5 points is so much. Even the first half,
yard.
The first half line is like 9. So like from a gambling standpoint, I'm not going to touch this, but there's still some other really good games. What are the people in the comments saying?
You got me fired up.
Trevor Garza is here to be laughed at. Gig him. I mean, we won't do that to you, buddy.
No.
Oh, I will.
No.
I think A&M could possibly win this week and just fuck up everything.
You want to talk about
this?
This
is like the Jimbo game. No, we already talked about it. But I'm saying like this is like the perfect Jimbo thing where it's like, you know what? I'm gonna go out here. I'm gonna beat the number 15 team in the country at home. First home game since like fucking Nam. And then they're gonna go out and like upset a ranked team that's by all means should beat them. And now Jimbo can finish the season, like 2-2, go to the fucking Birmingham Bowl right off in the sunset.
So while we're on the topic, like, what do you guys honestly think is going to happen there?
I mean, they're not going to fire him.
No.
What if they lose the rest of their games outside of UMass?
No. I mean, $86 million.
Yeah. From what I've been told, I asked a buddy of mine yesterday who I feel like would be in the know, and I said, is there any possibility that the way I couched it is I said that somebody influential enough could go to Jimbo and be like kind of Buddy Garrity style, like, you better do this or things are going to get really bad for you. Kind of like the speech he gave to Tammy Taylor about the scoreboard. Like, yeah, hey, this ain't going towards the library. It's going towards a scoreboard for the Dillon Panthers. So I asked him, I go, is there somebody that can legit go into Jimbo's office and be like, stop calling plays? Like, you are no longer in charge of the offense. You are now
I don't think there is.
Coach. And I don't think there is either. And I think that's the problem is, like, you gave this guy complete autonomy, which all Saban guys, and now that's kind of like the playbook for head coaches is, have complete control, and he does. But I also, too, I mean, if nothing else, like a collection of people, because that's what he then followed up with. He goes, people could just stop giving. And if that's the case, then maybe that forces Ross Bjork's hand, where then he has to go back hat in hand and say, hey, I know you've stopped giving, but we're going to go ahead and right this wrong. I mean, I think he's smart enough to know I got to get rid of some coaches. So I think he'll do that.
Oh, that's his go-to move.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
just deflect and say it's somebody else's fault.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing is every coach has an ego, right? So I'm sure to him, he's like, well, no, my offense can fix this thing. It's like, bro, your offense could fix this thing if you had Jameis Winston in 2013. Like, that's how it could do it. And I get it, too. Like, everybody's like, oh, they're only as good as when they have great players. Well, no shit. Everybody's good when they have good. You know who wasn't good?
Yeah, based my whole life on that.
No, I thought about it today. Like Les Miles, it was almost in spite of Les Miles in 2007 that they won the national title, because I think LSU's players were like, Jesus Christ, we're really fucking good. This guy is the one messing it up for us. Like, you lost at Kentucky and you lost at Arkansas because of that guy. So I think that more than anything, those are the coaches that I can't stand more than the ones that people say, well, they only win with good players. Well, no shit, they win with good players.
Yeah, it's kind of the whole thing. Also, Jimbo, like, this is going to sound crazy, but I kind of mean it. A&M could like benefit from a little bit of like Auburn's like boosters, like just over the top, like super arrogant and overly confident, just misguided confidence. Jimmy Rain walking into his office, be like, Coach, listen, hey,
Beat up on the desk.
Yeah. Like just, and then toss out like, I don't know, maybe 11 of his 38 play sheets. And then go from there, because like, that's also, there's no way we're going to not mention this, but his son is following me on Twitter now.
Oh, the place kicker son?
Yeah. Jimbo's son.
Okay. Yeah,
Jimbo's son, oh shit, what's his name? It's not Trey.
I think it's Quantavious.
Ethan is his name.
Yeah, it's close. Yeah, it's close.
Yeah.
Wait,
he follows you on Twitter now?
Yeah, I think it's because I made fun of him that one time.
Did he respond? Did he respond to you, or did he respond to Cruz?
He responded to Cruz, but
okay, that's what it was.
Oh God, what happened?
No, like he just was like, when he flipped out at the end of the Bama game, and he was like, I made fun of his chain, and very, very quickly was informed that he only wore that chain because he had a terminal illness, which didn't seem to add up, but I don't. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right. What other games we got here? Because I have like two sections of like, I have like the games we need to talk about, and then I have like the games I want to talk about in terms of like betting.
Well, I mean, we gotta get through all of those before we get to the Christian Hackenberg interview, right?
Yeah, so we do have. It's actually not Christian Hackenberg. It was that red-haired ginger that they had, and we did about an hour.
Oh, Matt
and a half
McGloin. No kidding.
Yeah. We read War and Peace together, and
cool.
And that'll be up next on the SDS pod. Let's see how many things I can get fired from this week. All right, real quick. I have these. Rank these games, or give me like just a quick tidbit on these five right here. Cincy's on the road at UCF. They're an underdog, even though they're ranked. UNC versus Pitt. UNC's ranked. They're also only a 3-point favorite against Pitt.
Yeah, I didn't get that.
Yeah. So Pitt's apparently UNC is like 0-6 in their last 6 games, coming off a bye. They've been like horrible for time to prepare because Mac Brown's old, man. You give him more time, he's just going to fall asleep.
Don't you dare! Do not dare talk about Mac like that, please.
You don't think that Mac Brown spent a lot of time in some fucking lazy boy recliner during the bye week?
I mean, Mac's still an active guy, but probably, yeah. Well, I mean, there is that, and no, Mac's my guy. Yeah.
All right, so then
better dance moves, that or Mike Gundy's little go-to little like hands behind the back that he does.
I don't think I've seen
look it up.
Dance.
Oklahoma State's Instagram account has him, and like supposedly because what was it, Hunter Mahan who played golf at Oklahoma State, like the whole fucking PGA Tour played at Oklahoma State. He commented and said, "Coach's go-to move." So it's apparently Mike Gundy's like go-to locker room dance move.
All right. Next game. TCU's at West Virginia. It's like their 7th straight game on the road and also playing against a ranked team. They're only 7-point favorites. Let's see here. Wake at Louisville. Wake's only
That is the weirdest line of the week.
I love it. I'm all over Wake on that one. And then Syracuse
everyone
versus
is.
Notre
That's the
Dame.
problem.
Well, I mean,
I know it makes all sense. Like Wake is legitimately good.
Yeah.
And
They're in the
Louisville's
top 10.
like, not really.
Well, they've covered the last 3 apparently under Satterfield. Syracuse and Notre Dame.
It's like a 3, isn't it?
It's 2.5, and like I kind of think that that's a very good value for Syracuse.
I would think, yeah. I mean, playing there in the Carrier Dome and Notre Dame. I mean, lost to Stanford a couple of weeks ago.
That's bad.
I mean, now it's like one of those now where you look at it and you're like, the Marshall loss doesn't seem as bad because Stanford has been like historically bad for the last 2 years.
Right.
And to drop that one. So, yeah. How you feeling now, Irish fans, after coming after me for the longest time of bragging about taking your coach? I'm sure you would love to have him back.
The other thing is, too, Coastal Carolina is on the road against Marshall, speaking of Marshall, and they're only a 3-point favorite. So these are, I mean, like, we don't have to get into those games because I don't know a fucking single thing about Coastal Carolina except for that they have teal uniforms. And they play the beach.
Teal too, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh.
But yeah, so I think I think all of those are like sneaky good games. Back to like the games we actually should talk about, like South Carolina, Mizzou. Why are we doing this to ourselves at every single angle?
Yeah. I mean, this game is going to be tough to watch, I think.
It's going to be awful. And I tell you what, like South Carolina only being a 4-point favorite, it kind of makes me think that like Mizzou might have a chance to pull off an upset just because they've won, I think, the last like 3 outright against South Carolina. This is going to be just such a slow and painful, like watching paint dry type of game. But also, we talked about earlier how there's several trophy games this week. I thought about this. If this game had a trophy attached to it, I would dub it. It would be a crab wearing a sweater vest. That would be the trophy. Because the last time these two teams were relevant and like the time they want to get back to is 2013. And that was when Gus Malzahn and his stupid fucking sweater vest and Jameis Winston stealing stuff from Publix, which we've all done. I think that would be the perfect trophy.
That's pretty funny to look back on in the NIL era now. Be like, dude, he got free crab legs.
It's like $38.
So against the rules.
I stole like 8 packs of Gushers at the gas station yesterday.
The guy told him he's got them.
Yeah.
Which by the way, the best part of that too is what was it? Hey Rookie or whatever, like the NFL draft stuff that ESPN did when Jameis was coming out. And this is when Jed Fish was working with Harbaugh at Michigan. And I think it was the quarterback coach that everybody had. George, oh geez. Somebody in the comments.
The guy with the brooms.
Yeah, with the brooms with Johnny Manziel. So I think he was his quarterback coach, and he took him there like to put him through, because Harbaugh obviously was in the NFL, to put him through like what the interview process was like with draft prospects. And Harbaugh had asked him, did you ever do anything wrong? And he didn't say it. And Jed Fish was like, hey, there was that thing at the grocery store there. Like, you might not want to leave that out. Like, you got to be. And then Harbaugh takes off his glasses like the old man he is and goes, stone crabs, crab legs, crab. What are we talking about here? Crab legs?
No, from that same interview, the best was Harbaugh going, you got a sex addiction?
What are you? Sex? it's like such like the because like if you ever had the talk as a kid, like that's kind of what it was. Like we were just like, God, Dad, like not now, man. Like this is awkward. And Harbaugh like definitely had those vibes of like,
Yeah.
what do you like? I can tell he's probably done that to his own kids. Well, yeah,
Hold on.
Your
Your dad
sex?
talked to you about having a sex addiction when you were kids?
Well, not like it was the birds and bees talk of hey, you're going through changes, and like every kid had,
Yeah, my dad admitted to me he had a sex addiction when I was 4.
Sick, dude. What a humble brag.
All right, well.
Oh, you made honor roll? I have a sex addiction, so there's that.
Yeah, I'm addicted to pounding.
Are you... Wow. All right.
But no, for this Missouri South Carolina game, Missouri scored or had 76 yards in the second half against Vandy last week. This is going to be a nightmare of a game. Under 45.5 is the over under. Take the under.
Mizzou's got a pretty good defense, man. I
know.
We were like, and I was guilty of it too, but we were so quick to like just shit on Georgia at that, how much they struggled at Mizzou. But I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that like Mizzou's defense is actually pretty legit.
Yeah. No, they are.
Also, this Swampy McGee guy is just throwing out fact after fact after fact in the comments. I love this.
It's the first I've seen Swampy McGee in the chat.
Oh, welcome in. All right. What do we have next?
What about Oklahoma State, Kansas State? You have a read on that?
So Oklahoma State's averaging 18 points less per game on the road versus at home, which is not great.
Factor.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I probably wouldn't touch this game just because like I don't trust either team. Like Oklahoma, I mean, I don't. Are they good? Or are they not good? Like, is Dylan Gabriel still there?
This is Oklahoma State.
I'm glad I brought all that up. Then you know what? Okay.
All right. Here's the thing on this. Oklahoma State coming off the big win over Texas last week.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people had Texas in that game. Then in the Kansas State TCU game, Kansas State was up big, if you recall. Then Adrian Martinez got knocked out of the game. And even like the backup got knocked out for a brief bit there. Kansas State, or TCU ends up coming back and winning that game. I love Kansas State being at home. They were home underdogs. And in that case, they'd covered 9 of the last 11, winning 5 of those straight up as a home dog. But now they're a favorite. They got bet all the way into a favorite. So now I don't know what to do. But I think I'm going to take Kansas State. I think they can run the ball really well. Deuce Vaughn. I know he was nursing a leg injury after last week's game, but I think he's going to be back for this game. And I like Kansas State at home. You thought they were playing Oklahoma, so we'll see.
No, I was thinking Oklahoma and Iowa State because I was looking at that line a whole bunch.
Yeah, I would say -1.
Favored by like that's kind of crazy.
I don't know. Yeah.
Also, Baylor is an underdog at Texas Tech. We should probably talk more about SEC games.
Yeah. What about? All right, let's do Georgia, Florida.
Oh, okay. I want to hear from everyone in the comments their boldest prediction. Let's do bold and rash. It's different than bold and brash. I want you to make a bold prediction and also tell me about the worst rash you've ever had. This game is like,
and when the last time you were horny for disrespect was.
Oh, that's every day. Baby.
Georgia's kind of toned down their horniness a little bit.
I'm telling you because we don't ever talk about Georgia. We don't talk about
they're the best team in the country.
Georgia.
We don't talk about Georgia.
Georgia.
Should we invite Swampy McGee on the show? He's killing it.
No, Swampy McGee is right, though. Florida, I thought they were getting number 1 corner, Cormani McClain, tonight, and he ended up surprising everyone going to Miami, who was believed to be running 3rd in that recruitment.
So the football game this weekend, Georgia's a 22-point favorite. It's the highest point spread in this rivalry since like 78. I don't think Georgia's ever – they've probably beaten them by – surely Georgia's beaten them by more than 22 points. They beat them like 42-7 a couple years back.
Yeah, they beat them 17. That was the late Malik Zaire touchdown. But I think before that, I want to say
last year they won 34-7, didn't they?
Oh yeah.
I can't remember the score last year, but I want to say like the largest margin they had like went like all the way back to 1989 was what Brian Edwards of Vegas Insider told me. So that could be wrong.
Okay.
I could be wrong.
Also a fantastic Taylor Swift album. Yeah, so like I think for me, I don't know how Florida moves the ball. They've like just consistently looked almost inept, I feel like, on offense. And like Anthony Richardson's gonna have to have like a day. He can't do any of the shit that he did a year ago, basically.
And he was bad against Georgia last year. Remember that?
Yeah, he lost the game in a matter of like a minute and a half.
Right.
21 straight points.
So like it also, we were talking about this the other day, how like you said, when's the last time this game was relevant? And like I brought up the fact that like 3 of the past 4 years it's been a top 10 matchup. Somebody said in the comments afterwards, you asked like if when's the last time they were both undefeated? Apparently that's never happened.
What? Really?
Which, interesting.
I mean, it's a guy in my Instagram DM, so there's no way that he's not telling the truth.
Well, it's not gonna happen this year.
Yeah. The 22 and a half, I feel like I don't think there's a team that Kirby hates more. Like I don't think there's a maybe a team or like a coach where he like his hatred for this team is the same as the fans, as much as Kirby hates Florida. And like usually I would say like I think like last couple of years I've like looked at like the game of the year lines in the summer and like circled this one as like the lock for Georgia to cover. With Tennessee coming in next week, I think they keep it vanilla and just like, you know, probably just impose their will, and especially on defense, because they don't have to show much on offense. And next week they are going to fucking just unveil, I think, all of Todd Monken's like playbook, and it's going to be fucking awesome. I can't wait.
I get nervous for Florida on defensively. I don't know how they'll make a stop until Georgia puts in their backups. They are by far, they're 130th out of 131 teams in third down conversion percentage allowed. They can't get off the field. Over half the time people convert. They're giving up, you know, pretty close to 400 yards of total offense every game, and it's not like they've played like a gauntlet of a schedule. So and Georgia, it's gonna be one of those games where it's kind of like last year. Georgia's up huge to start, and Anthony Richardson just starts throwing up prayers and throwing picks. I mean, I've got Georgia big. I mean, I guess Florida could always have the back door, like you're saying, but
that's what I was
probably wouldn't
backdoor cover.
I think that Georgia's up enough where Florida doesn't backdoor. I'm going to say 45-20, maybe gets close, but
I mean, like, when's the last time Florida even did backdoor? Like when Tebow was still a virgin?
I see what you did there.
There he is. So, okay, every year this game happens, I have to tell my favorite story from this rivalry ever. Because honestly, this game is not my favorite. Like I don't really. There's just something about like the stadium in Jacksonville. I just think it's kind of shitty.
It's Jacksonville.
Yeah. And I don't know what that means, but I'm gonna agree because I've never been to Jacksonville. Jacksonville seems like Virgin Tampa.
I would say that it's a much larger Mobile almost.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like just a bunch of like straightaway Esplanade roads that you're like, how long am I going to be on this road for? And then you look at your GPS and you're like, shit, I'm going to be on this road for like 20 minutes. Wow, that's going to be awesome. And it's just strip malls and abandoned buildings. And
it looks like an abandoned strip mall, to be honest.
It pretty much is. With golf courses and like nice like golf course communities. Jack's Beach is nice. And Chuck brought this up on the show the other day. I think this game's luster has kind of gone away since they tore down the landing. Like I think like that was like part of it, that like people were like, well, I can go to Jacksonville and I can go party on the landing and do all that kind of stuff, and then, you know, take the little water taxi right to the stadium. So there's that. I mean, it's like nothing like
a gondola.
Yeah, you could take a water taxi, like a little ferry boat from there, like over to TIAA Stadium or whatever the hell they call it now.
Yeah.
But I think that the other thing is, though, in this one is I think Kirby actually does like Billy Napier because I think the difference was the line that I was told about Florida and Dan Mullen is that there were two coaches that Kirby Smart would have no problem leaving the field with one shoe left on, and that is Dan Mullen and Gus Malzahn. That I think like the let's just say mildly annoyance of Gus Malzahn was after we whipped the dog crap out of him.
The dog crap, yeah.
Yeah, and then Kirby after that was like, all right, I'm going to remember that going on here on out, where, remember, they were up 28-7 in the SEC championship game on 4th, and I don't even know what it was, where they could have kicked a field goal or punted it or done whatever, and Kirby went for it on 4th down. Like basically being like, screw you, I'm winning the SEC championship game, and I'm also going to embarrass you.
Also, this is the same thing where this is my favorite video of him coming off the field saying, fuck these motherfuckers about Florida. I love that. We have an audio clip from the, what do you call it?
I think it was last year.
Damn it. Wait, how do I share this audio so everyone can hear it? Dan, you play it. I don't know what I'm doing.
All right, so Tyler, you're going to throw to it. It was the locker room speech that got out last year. I want to break these guys. So let's let Kirby take it away.
I don't even have the clip.
Oh, well.
All right. Well, how do we? God damn it!
Here, I got it. It's in my email. Hold, please. This is the beauty of doing this live.
Yeah, it's live. It's live radio, live podcast, live all of that. You know, that's what we got.
2 more hours left too, so this is really flown by.
Oh, we do?
No, we don't.
While
you're doing that, I'll tell you my favorite Georgia Florida story ever. I say it every year. The year is, I think it's like 2006. It was Stafford's freshman year, and Joe Tereshinski was the starting quarterback for Georgia. And before the game, CBS was asking drunk fans tailgating how to spell Tereshinski. And they have the first 3 or 4 people try and they can't do it. And it's like, oh no, TR, I don't know. And they finally go to this one just red-faced, overweight Georgia fan. And he just goes just very matter of fact. He goes, Tereshinski, Loser, Tereshinski. I was like, fuck. It was hilarious. That's my favorite moment from this rivalry.
See, I was about to say red-faced as well, because that's always my favorite look of people who've been out there tailgating all day. And it's like, you have not had a lick of water all day, have you?
All right, can you guys see?
We can see it.
All right, hold on.
Play the media.
This is painful, guys. I'm sorry.
Play the fucking thing. What are you doing? I have it memorized. All right. Well, that was pretty underwhelming.
Post production, we'll include it. So download the podcast. We'll have it then.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, we tried.
What, was it not working?
No. Hey, coach is coming back.
It's very low volume.
Okay, fuck it.
You have it on Mac Brown level.
We'll do it later. We'll do it later.
That worked out well, guys.
Anyway,
but Marler, can I just one quick thing on that?
Yeah.
I don't that was great, but I think my all-time favorite with Kirby was, I think it was 2019. They had clinched the SEC East at Auburn, because I know it wasn't 2017 because that was a bad day for them there. But it was, the old, hey coach, what'd you tell the guys in the locker room? A really original question by you. That's a fantastic question. He's like, I told him congratulations on this, and then I'll tell you what I said. I said, how about them fucking dogs?
How about them fucking dogs?
Excuse my language. And he just said it so deadpan. That was my favorite part of it is he goes, I'll tell you what I said. I said, how about them fucking dogs?
I mean, that's why, honestly, I love Kirby, man. And I, as much as I shit on Georgia fans and we talk shit on social media, but he I miss like that very, very like just uncouth, just crass. I don't give a fuck. Like, like hold up my
He's a
sign,
football
lose
guy.
my job. It's like, yeah, he's like, and he's also like if you told me that Kirby Smart was going to put on a fucking helmet and go play like I don't know in the first half, I would not doubt it for 2 seconds. Like he's still an athlete, he's still super intense, and he's doing like we don't give him enough credit for how good of a job on the whole that he's doing as a head coach from like every single part of the job in terms of making sure you have like the right staff in place, making sure you have the recruiting in place, the facilities, like the planning and the prep. Also, Georgia's dominant away from home, especially the SEC East. So, yeah, man, I that's going to be. We should probably seamless transition to the Tennessee Kentucky game, but that's going to be, God, that's going to be fun next week.
Yeah, that's gonna be a lot of fun. All right, last game of the night.
What?
Number 19, Kentucky at number 3, Tennessee. It's a 7:00 game on ESPN. Tennessee currently minus 12. Total is 61. Dan, what do you think about this game?
Well, I mean, if that's going to be met, then the line share is going to come from Tennessee because even with Levis back and with Chris Rodriguez, I mean, I just don't see them putting up enough offense to be able to go head to head with Tennessee. And the funny thing is like everybody is like, oh, Tennessee secondary. When you score 50 points a game, your secondary doesn't really mean anything at that point. So I think that with Levis, he turns the football over a lot. And
All
if you
the
do that
time.
if you do that against this Tennessee team, and you give this offense extra chances, which by the way, they're getting Jalen McCullough back, which he should have never been away from the field if you read what happened in the first place. Because
Well, we don't need
I'm
to get into
sorry,
that.
well, but that's the whole thing though. Is like some drunk asshole breaks into my place, and I'm like, at the very least, dude, leave. Then soon enough,
Yeah.
if like they start like getting an attitude with me, then I probably will be like, okay, remember this in the morning. So I mean, there's that, and then you also too. I mean, you get Cedric Tillman back along with
Yeah.
Jalen Hyatt and what he's been doing. Good luck with that. That's going to be a lot of fun. So if that over is met, it's going to be the lion's share from Tennessee. So I don't necessarily see a path to victory for Kentucky. I think Tennessee has a pretty easy time, and we're going to get probably when the playoff rankings come out on Monday, number 1 against number 2 the following week in Athens.
And Tennessee would be number 1 like they deserve to be. Anyway,
Should.
No, I think that I think everything you said is pretty spot on. I think that also we talk about this Tennessee offense all the time. All the time. I love the fact that you brought up the turnovers because it has plagued Kentucky. And as much as we talk about the Tennessee offense and Hendon Hooker and Hyatt and Cedric Tillman's already been announced as a starter, Tennessee also has the second ranked run defense in the country, or sorry, in the SEC. They're first in turnover margin. They have the second ranked rush defense. They are top 10 nationally in rush defense. They're a good defense, man. They like, I know that you could say, well, it's because they give up so many yards in the secondary. I mean, outside of the Bama game and what Anthony Richardson did, who could be a potential first round pick, and I know that's what Levis is supposed to be. But the thing that Kentucky doesn't have that those two teams have is weapons.
Mm-hmm.
Like they don't have any receivers that are going to scare you. The fact that this is the 12.5 points, I'm going to take Kentucky to cover the 12.5 because Mark Stoops is like a cover machine, especially away from home and as an underdog. The first half, Tennessee -7, that is, and also -3 in the first quarter. That's a lock. Kentucky is the worst first. I mean, that is absolute fucking free money because Kentucky is one of the slowest starting teams. What do you call it in the country? They've been awful early on in games. They haven't led at, I think, the end of the first quarter in any game this season, which is almost impossible to do. So
in Tennessee is like Heupel's like master, like constructor of that first drive.
Yeah.
Just scripted plays.
I mean, so the fact, like, I'm not going to take them to score first just because you saw this game last year with what Kentucky. I mean, Kentucky can put up points, but I don't think Chris Rodriguez is going to run all over this defense. I think that Will Levis will absolutely make mistakes, especially away from home. And what you're going to see is Tennessee doing what they've done all year, and that is like maybe it's close for like half of the first half. I think they call that a quarter. And then just slowly pulling away. I mean, Kentucky could backdoor cover this, but by halftime, Tennessee will be up by double digits easy.
Well, I think the other thing is too, like with the secondary, is let's look at how Tennessee's games have been. They've been out like way ahead. So when you're way ahead of somebody, they're not going to run the ball; they're going to throw it. And the law of averages would tell you take enough deep shots, you're going to hit some of them. So I think that's probably what goes against them as well. But I didn't know that about their run defense, though. That's you just learned me something right there. I appreciate you doing that, Marler.
Of course, man. That's all honestly that. And now that we can talk about my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, that's all I wanted to talk to you about today.
Well, amen, brother.
I was honestly surprised too. I think that like piggybacking off that, and somebody just said in the comments, Monken can script an opening drive as good as Heupel, if not better. I love the enthusiasm, but just from a statistical and factual standpoint, that has not been the case at all this season.
Well, and then what was it too? I can't remember who had the metric that probably on Monday when the college football playoff rankings come out. I mean, 1 through 4 are probably going to be what? Georgia, Tennessee, in whatever order, Ohio State and Michigan. Those 4 teams lead in terms of scoring rate, like the amount of times, like each drive that they score. Like Georgia is number 1 in the country at like over 60%. I think Tennessee is just like right behind them. So it's like, you got 2 elite offenses taking on each other the following week. But I mean, I guess that just shows you as well that, people, defense wins championships. No, putting points on the board as quickly as possible is what gets you to that point.
You know what their first quarter scoring margin is for Tennessee? Just the first quarter.
Yeah, I got it now.
10 points. I mean, like, talk about jumping out early. I mean, they have a top 5 first quarter scoring offense and then a top 10 scoring defense as well. It's just, I think they're a lot better of a team than people have probably given them credit for. So, anyway, go ahead, Tyler.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I like the over in this game. I think, given that I do expect Kentucky to have to throw the ball, that's kind of the one thing that Tennessee hasn't been good at defending. I don't think Kentucky can keep up offensively enough over the course of the game, but I think they'll have enough big plays with Levis down the field that they'll probably score in the mid-20s at the very least. And I expect Tennessee to score more, so I'd probably go with the over in this game, if anything, but definitely expect Kentucky to win. It's not really a look ahead since this is a ranked game, but that Georgia game is setting up to be such a big game. I wonder how much that affects things as well with the overall cover. Like if Tennessee's up big and they kind of pull some starters or something like that.
Right. I can see that.
So.
Yeah, I don't think that's that far-fetched. I think that could definitely happen. All right, it's Halloween on Monday. I want to hear from both of you and also our audience. What is the sluttiest Halloween outfit and costume you ever wore? Not really. No.
I was gonna say.
Give me your favorite Halloween memory, because I feel like Halloween in college was probably the best night of the year.
College definitely was a different level. My favorite story probably can't be told on this here Radio Waves.
Oh yeah, it can.
I'm gonna tell that story to you guys offline, but I'll let you guys think of one, and then I'll think of something else, because I probably shouldn't be saying it in public.
Firefighter when I was 8, and then a fireman at like the little like Halloween thing we went to in our neighborhood saw me and was like, "You want to get on the truck?" And I was like, "Hell yeah, I do." And, it was like right after like Backdraft had come out, so I was like, "I want to be a firefighter."
Why were you watching Backdraft at 8?
Yeah, it's probably like not age appropriate for me to be able to watch. I have an older brother who's 8 years older than me, so maybe like I was like able to like kind of find a way to watch Backdraft, but probably the what was it, Stephen Baldwin and what's her name scene, probably not good for an 8-year-old to be seeing that. So yeah,
I watch that once a week even now.
My mom and dad were great parents. Rebecca De Mornay, I think, was who it was, or was she Kurt Russell's? It doesn't matter.
You have thrown out some names today that I have not prepared myself for.
Dude, I mean,
Yeah.
those were the stars of the '90s right there. But,
no, the stars of the '90s was just Harrison Ford and
Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
He did kind of kill it. Yeah.
Yeah.
JTT was kind of the shit back then, huh?
You remember when the third Fast and Furious came out and fucking Brad from Home Improvement was like the bad guy in the first scene? I was like, I knew it was gonna suck right then.
Zachary Ty Bryan. I think that's
how do you know all of their names like that?
And why they all have 3 names?
They all had 3 names. Drift? Yeah, it's Tokyo Drift.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, and then Mike Winchell got sent to go live with his dad. That's right. Yeah.
Dude, you and these names.
Yeah, this is incredible.
Well, he played Mike Winchell in the movie adaptation of Friday Night Lights.
My favorite Halloween ever was my dad dressed up as a ghost when I was little and then just left. So that was a pretty good. That was a pretty good. I'm kidding.
I knew that's where you were going.
My favorite, I think, honestly, was when I was in college. I dressed up as Forrest Gump. We also did 2-a-days, which I've told that story before. But I dressed up as Forrest Gump and had like the old school Nikes. I had like a Bama hat, ping pong paddle, and like a box of chocolates. I just remember being so drunk, like at Capital City, and just spilling this box of chocolates everywhere. And then I woke up in the dorms with a girl named Desiree, who said, and I quote, "Hey, just a heads up, I have shingles. You should be fine." And I was like, "What the fuck is this?" And then I had to walk like a mile home. Didn't have shingles though, so
that's good. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and tell the story that I was gonna tell.
Yeah, I don't know why.
So this was remember the show Workaholics when that was really big?
Oh yeah.
So me and 2 other buddies went as the Workaholics guys, and we went to a couple like pre-parties before going out to, I guess, just like the Buckhead bars. And my one buddy, who was Adam Devine's character, he had like a hat made that said Top Gun, which he wore that one of the things, and he like passed out at the bar like real early. We had to get him in a cab. And I was like, let me wear the Top Gun hat tonight. And he could like barely respond. He's like, I was like, all right, give me the Top Gun hat. End up taking a lovely lady home that night, who like had approached me because of the Top Gun hat.
All right.
And like she, stayed the night, went to Waffle House the next day, like kind of took her back to her house. And I was like, let me look this girl up on social media. So the first thing that comes up is her Twitter. And the day before I had met her, she had tweeted the real Adam Devine and just said, "Fuck me."
Oh, you were living
I was like a sick
misguided
twisted
fantasy.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it was because
that's like when lesbians used to hit on me thinking I was Rachel Maddow. That's not great for anyone.
And
wow.
It was the late switch of the hat that got me in. So
did she have shingles or not?
She did have shingles, and I did get them as well.
That is, I mean, jeez.
Yeah, you can see why I was probably hesitant to tell that story, but it was just too good.
I've said some pretty questionable things on Twitter. That is next level.
Yeah, I know.
Did he respond at least? I mean, did she have a
I liked it from my personal account.
Okay. Good for you. I mean, thank God you didn't draw the short straw and be the long-haired guy. That would have sucked.
Yeah, no, Blake. Yeah, no, I didn't. Yeah. I was Anders, but when he dyed his hair blonde, so it was Blonders.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
But then the late switch up, the wig kind of sucked, so I already was kind of pissed. What is this Swampy McGee guy doing, by the way, in the comments?
It's like an IMDb like came to life.
He's like
I remember
a bot.
One time I went as like a basic white girl in like 2016. This is when I was in like peak shape. My legs were incredible. I fit into this pair of leggings that I had no business being in. And I remember like everything was fine. We were out in the Highlands at Diesel, my favorite bar. And then like at some point everyone left and I didn't know, like I was supposed to be going with this like group of people and I thought this girl And then I was like, well, I guess I need to go home. I don't know where the fuck to go. Like, and like it's Halloween, so like all of the cabs, all of the Ubers, like are just like everything's surging or they're not there. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I only live like 3.5 miles away. I'll just walk from Highlands to Lindbergh. And I just remember walking home like dressed as a woman. And at like 1:45 in the morning, this Uber guy was like, I was like, where the fuck are you? And he's like, I have driven by the same place that you told me to pick you up at 4 times. There's no one there. There's a woman. He's like, there's a lady. I was like, I'm the lady. I'm the lady. And then he went and that was it. It wasn't as good as your story, Tyler. That was great.
Yeah.
I was Johnny Manziel one year. Had the arm sleeve and all of it, and wore the sunglasses, and went out at the Ivy. It was a good time.
Love the Ivy. Yeah,
that'll
Chris
do
loves
it.
the Ivy. All right, all right, guys. Don't forget, as you're watching the game, or maybe after the game, give us a call. Leave us a voicemail. 424-430-0045. Hoping to get one from producer Dan next week and fly from Baton Rouge after the Tigers have reeled off a victory.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, there
Tyler.
could be that. There could be that. I've been known now as my celebratory drinks after Astro wins, so I'm hoping for 2 this weekend, and we'll see.
Well, definitely get your hopes up because it's happened 5 times since the Eisenhower administration. So, no.
Okay.
Has it?
Also,
I'm
if anybody
still
is
reading
in,
the comments, but this guy Swampy McGee is still putting things in about Workaholics that I just.
Workaholics is a great show.
Yeah.
If you're in Jacksonville this weekend, hit my line, page me. Are you still talking, Tyler?
No.
Oh,
Go to Taco.
I think
go to Taco Lou.
there's
That's
no
one of
chance
the
I go to
spots
Taco
down-
Lou.
Why?
I mean, first off, like I'm a cultured person, Dan, and so I'm not going to go get a taco from Taco Lou. Like if I'm going to get a taco, I'm going to go to like a nice place, like a Frontera.
If there's a Mi Cocina down there, you're gonna go to Mi Cocina.
Oh, I like that. There's a Superica. Me and you could meet up there and have my girlfriend run
All
over a
right.
fucking tab. Either way, but if you are in Jacksonville, hit me up and we'll be down there. I think we have some stickers and all that kind of shit. And also, guys, would it kill you to leave a fucking 5-star review? Would it kill you to leave a fucking 5-star review? We haven't got one in months. And that's probably not the nicest way to go about it, but yeah, we'd love one.
Yeah, we would.
Say it with your chest, Marler.
Stop canceling my shows and leave a 5-star review.
5-star reviews. Go like and subscribe on YouTube. Thanks for listening. Enjoy your games this weekend. We'll see you on Sunday.